Welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be going over the feedback from players in regards to the Nulgath update in AQ3D. Now, this might get kind of controversial, so bear with me. Now, I've been keeping an eye on what players have been saying regarding the Nulgath release, and it's kind of funny because you have an extreme spectrum from both sides of the fence, from some saying they're not going to play it at all because it's too grindy, to others saying the quests are too easy and they need to be nerfed. So I find it kind of funny that you have two vastly different opinions regarding the same thing. But the post I posted on Twitter did get some interesting feedback from it, one of which is right here, and I thought I would read this one out to you. So this is before the changes that we've had today. This is some of the feedback regarding it prior to the changes we've had today. So he said, the pets are fine as they are now, and they don't need a nerf. The reason is they actually don't get a lot of turn-ins, and it's all RNG. I tested this with my guild. I started the farm before them, and I still haven't finished, while some people in my guild are already done. So RNG is definitely part of it. Most players cannot play the game 24/7 and do the farming for the whole day. So you got to also keep in mind the players who have jobs, college, school, whatever. You should also consider those players with the hardcore players. So it's also, you want to take into consideration the casual, not just the hardcore. So far from these comments here and in-game, all I've seen is that people are happy and satisfied with them, and that is the finale that they have been waiting for. And this is what I also agree with, because I think this is a great addition to the Nulgath thing, and honestly should have been added when the finale came out, because there were no good comments about the finale when it came out. If you guys can remember, it was a very negative result. This is what we were wanting, was this type of content, and I really wish this had come out when the finale did. It would have been better to mix it all together, but it's good now that at least players are happy with this for the most part. Quests have glitches and bugs, most of which were fixed in today's patch, need to be fixed and not balanced. I say this is a player who played AQ World Nulgath and AQ3D Nulgath. At the current moment, AQ3D Nulgath is much more harder than the AQ World version for a various amount of reasons. Keeping up with the quest paths, trying to understand the quests, knowing what to do, and how to go for it. You also have to keep in mind, people are finished mostly either an item or two, not the whole farm. There are like 8 other big farms to go for, so keep that in mind. Now I'm going to also add to this, I am also an AQ World player, obviously. I've played through the Nulgath stuff in AQ World, and it is much easier farming in AQ World. And one big reason for that is the mobility. We don't have to travel nearly as far to get to certain things. For instance, if I want to run through a dungeon in AQ World, it takes me no time at all because I can eliminate the enemies in mere seconds. I can run from map to map in mere seconds. You can't do that in AQ3D, and I feel that's where it kind of fell flat, is the amount of time invested into getting the same item in AQ3D to get the same item in AQ World. You'd be getting the item in AQ World way faster because it takes less time to get there, and to kill the enemies is much quicker than it is in AQ3D. That was not taken into consideration when creating this. But I will say, SurfNL has done a great job at adding in the Nulgath stuff into AQ3D and taking it over. I said the only issue that I have with it is that it's a little too much because of the amount of time it takes, due to the amount of running and the amount of time it takes to kill the enemies. That's where a big part of it is. I can also see what he's saying with having to keep up with the quest pets can be rather difficult. Okay, I gotta put this pet on now, and then turn this quest in. Now I gotta go over to this pet, and I gotta put this quest on. So I can understand that as well. So it does make sense, but it's very good feedback. I posted a comment on my YouTube channel for my YouTube community asking, what do you all think about the newest Nulgath additions in AQ3D? Feel free to post a comment. If you guys did not get a notification for this, if you've got the notifications on, you will get notifications when I post polls and other questions and whatnot in there. So out of 410 votes, people said that with the newest edition, they thought it was great. 38% said that. That's very good. And that is actually how I feel about it as well. I think it was a great addition to the game. Lots of items, and Surfano and the other devs that worked on it did a really great job at adding it. I mean, yes, you're going to have some bugs and whatnot, but they did get those patches fixed, and overall, I think that it was a good addition to the game. So 28% said it sucks, 23% said they don't play AQ3D, and then 11% said other. So we're going to go over these things right here. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, this might be controversial, but we're going to go through it regardless. Let's get started. I will go with it could have been more balanced for the following reasons. The amount of farming for the newer items is exponentially higher than any other type of farm we have done so far. Yes, that includes the armors, since even at such scale, that Nulgath farm was small in the bigger scheme of things. I mean, a weapon, its anomaly, its doomish cousin, then 3 armors, and you had the top gear of the game. Lots of items and lots of headaches, but still, those were the few items. I'm choking on poetic license right now, but you get the point. However, the amount of newer armors, weapons, combat styles, and cosmetics are a lot, and I mean that in a good sense. It's a lot of items. However, the farming hasn't been turned down. Even worse, for most of them, the primary monster you need to fight is the big guy, which can insta-kill you with a sneeze in the battle arena that blocks your access once you get killed. So you're getting out of there. So you're better getting out of it unless you're enjoy seeing your comrades being shredded one at a time. Too many items to farm for so many new additions, which for many, including little me, turns this into the unnecessary time expense. Like I said in the previous video of yours, the art department are the boys who don't disappoint, since that section is already good and more than cover the new additions, especially the travel forms and the swords, but the requirements for access are just beyond convoluted for anyone who wants to play the game in a normal state, instead of the junkies that can put 12 hours a day. And let's not forget the small detail that all of this should have been released alongside Part 3, which I agree with. Not a late patch when a chunk of population is already burned out and want nothing to do with more farming for items with average stats. Again, this is also, I really, if I had been able to tell them, don't release the finale until you've got all of this stuff ready to go, I would have said that. If I could reverse time, I would have, because it would have made the finale so much better. I hope Nulgath is a final lesson for whoever forged the pipeline behind the production of this entire saga, because the amount of administration mistakes have enough weight to sink a ship faster than Lustania. This by no means translates to incompetence from the artists or coders. The team did what they could with the time and structure they had available. Magic does not exist, and game development isn't a PowerPoint presentation. However, the other side of the coin is that someone must have the responsibility for this mess. I will always blame the person in charge, the one calling the shots, the one directing the team. He or she is the one who must hold the weight of accountability when things don't work, not the dev team, who more than likely scrambled to achieve new content under not so great limitations in their schedules. So we've got some feedback there, kind of the pros and cons of it. Very nice feedback indeed. Got some comments to it, but we're not gonna go over those. Even if they are good, we're just gonna stick to the main ones. It's amazing. So this is another person. The Nulgath edition isn't my favorite. I'm a believer that Guardians don't have enough going for them and the money we dump into the game, but nevertheless, these additions have been great. This last update opened many bugs, but they'll be fixed in due time. There we go. I like it, mainly because it feels like they are starting to listen and make activity exist throughout Saga. I got really sick of them updating only maps like Wasteland and Forge last content patch. But also, there's a lot of bad as well. Challenge HP scaled up, too much pet swapping, far too many quests broken. Still, the update excites me. So, there we go. Now, that's another thing I'd like to bring up. The challenge, I'm going to be brutally honest right now. I haven't even done the Nulgath challenge. I'm going to actually do it in a live stream, but I have not done it at all. So I don't even know what nightmare you guys are referencing, because I just haven't done it. But I am definitely going to want to try it. But at this point, I haven't seen one person say anything good about it. So maybe they should nerf it, since they like to nerf things. I took a break around the last Friday the 13th release. I'll come back when the Pink Blood set comes out, though. Haha. Honestly, this grind is pretty par for the course of AE. It's not super respectful of player time, but we really do expect it. And that, again, it does go back to time. I say time is the enemy here. Awesome on the new pets, but too much grinding. I'd rather do multiple quests than grinding too much in one area. I hope that new quest to turn contracts into resources would be added. Well, maybe. Hard pass on Nulgath. Period. Never touching PvE has never been really good for my health. It's great in terms of farming things now. You can essentially farm anywhere you'd like with the new pets. Unfortunately, the issues on quests are far too prominent to ignore. I was really looking forward to grinding the Taro Sword and the Hanzo Blade combo, but it's just not possible right now. So I grinded Oblivion Blade for the NPC to bug out and not allow me to continue the grind to the Fiend Blade. Other issues where players, including myself, have lost Hanzo Pet and the PBON Sword. So losing items bought for DC and items you grinded for just sucks. Aside from the issues though, it's actually great. A lot of nice new drops to farm in the Shadow Dungeon. They touched up the throne area to look nicer. People just gotta look past the issues and understand the grind more than really to have a good experience with it, in my opinion. You can pull max stacks on everything with a good farming party within an hour or two. It's the facts right now. I've personally blown through almost 100 diamonds already. So that alone says it's easy. Have good RNG, it's even better. Okay, I would like to know how you got 100 diamonds in an hour or two. The amount of materials that weapons are asking for is incredibly insane, so I stopped playing from there. I find that the AQ3D team continues to try and recreate their best content update, which was Darkovia, and with each update has fallen further and further away. From 2020 to 2024, the trend of quality content versus I want to spam you for more DC is not even comparable. No one can disagree that the quality of pieces DC spending versus grind is insane. For full details, see every rare related drop item in the game. Now to the update. In plain words, it's terrible. No one who works a normal job, is married, has kids, and all of the above can achieve any of this content in a timely manner, which will now be obsolete within a month or two, which is also kind of true. Maybe not a month or two, but I mean, I understand that. Now, technically, when you say obsolete, you're meaning stat-wise. The map scales are insanely large for few mobs, which only lead to lag issues, which we have complained about since release. This is also true. Very large maps which require a lot of moving and running when the enemies are... So I do understand that as well. If you want to do smaller maps, I don't think people would complain. And don't get me started on loading time. It's like 15 minutes of commercials leading up to a movie. I've also had issues with load. I'm just sitting there going, why the frick is it taking this long? I'm on a super fast PC with super fast internet. I should be loading in a blink of an eye. While I've no doubt people would complain due to the length of time it would have taken to complete this and release everything at once in a quality way, I feel it would have been better to be fully completed released would have been worth the wait, as well as perhaps finally giving us housing, which was originally discussed back in 2017 and has yet to be remotely implemented. I get that AQ3D is a one-off make fun of other games, grindfest, but sometimes they need to understand people can't spend all day on the game platform or spend thousands of dollars to buy content that looks 10 times better than anything you can acquire through grinding. Except for the Nulgath stuff, that stuff looks epic. They need to find a balance between quality, spending time, and content, which in all the many years I've played AQ3D has been utterly impossible. Sadly, I don't foresee any of this changing because Artix is far too detached from AQ3D as he's busy with his other games to even realize, let alone fix the issues. Good, so there's another player here, good, but finale still feels anticlimactic, like there's still scenes that feel they were missing. Dej reuniting with his soul and being whole again, Nulgath's defeat, a scene where Nulgath transforms and gets bigger, an intro scene for the finale. It was good, but wasn't at the same time for those missing unfinished scenes. Also, disappointed with how the grind got even harder. So, there is no way advancing your gear, you waste gold and your precious lifetime. Even PvP doesn't require gear at all. I don't know where this game is going after Atlantis. I see chaos. This game is either going to rise to the top or vanish. When it said new quests, new side quests, I didn't think they meant more farming quests. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that it wasn't exactly clear in regards to that. I'm just looking forward to Nulgath being done and over, and to move on to better and brighter things, hopefully. Personally, it's just all too much for a bunch of hellish red gear that I'm not going to use for cosmetics. The whole saga was just way too much red saturation. Okay, that is true when you're talking about the wood area, and then they had again that red saturation in the oversoul, so I can understand that. I don't know if that played a part in people's frustrations with Nulgath, but it got kind of old. I get that the Nulgath saga is supposed to be basically hell, but I think this just did a good job of creating hell in more ways than one. That's actually kind of funny. They would take a hell of a farming and timing. That would take. That is true. Yeah, it would. I just want them to remove scaling in PvP, then I'll be happy. Why won't they fix the guild buffs? Have they not fixed it yet? They said the new pets will help the farming go faster. I haven't gotten them to buy them yet, but they cost 500k each, and I don't have the funds. But it seems that the Guardian voucher of Nulgath version of that quest is bugged and didn't appear, so I'll probably wait for that, try the pets out, and see if they do help with the grind. So, from what I've heard, they do. I don't have any of the pets yet, but I'm hoping to get them. It's good as far as Nulgath goes, but Nulgath as well, it's Nulgath. Greetings, I love this game and the quest is very impossible, so I'm just going to try again to best playing again. Oh, that's funny. Sucks because mainly everything is for higher levels, 44 plus. Well, that is true. Kind of gives incentive to get up to those higher levels though. I'll pass on this. Even for the Nulgath standards, the amount of farming is just way too much. Add 10 more pets, each giving a new material that needs for one of the 7 pieces of armor, and then after 2 days of grinding, maybe it's enough to exchange for a single weapon. Do you guys see how absurd it became? On top of that, let's add 5 new material to farm. How about that? They can't even reward the player with complete armor set for finishing a single quest. It's always 2 or 3 or 4 parts at best. Sad to see how AE posts always says something about listening to our feedback just to not give a single F about it and continue this clown fiesta that is the Nulgath finale. What do I do? So many quests with big names. Pre-insanity. I like the new things and the pet, but diamond's still so hard to get. It's spend too much time to farming. It's the same with main quests, not a side quest. Waiting for Archfiend Grimlord of Nulgath. It's not out, and I have no idea if the devs are making it. I don't think the devs are making it, but that would be freaking awesome if they did. That would be my I will live in this armor forever armor if it was made. AQ3D fell off. I won't come back till Nulgath is over and something worth playing is in. Yay! Something not for DC, but I think they should make an option to count cosmetic PBON weapon as the ownership, because, not gonna lie, I deleted both stats. So now apparently you can get the PBON back. So hopefully you'll be able to get, as long as you've had it once before, you'll be able to get it back. Too much grinding. They need to stop Nulgath and move on to a different saga. Some people are just tired of Nulgath. There's some quest bugs. Evil elemental quest. Okay, so we did already mention previously these have been fixed. For farming quest is literally killing more and more and more time. Yeah, again, time seems to be the enemy. Pointless can't even beat Nulgath, so what's the point? I hate the devs for patching it, because they basically made Nulgath unbeatable. Maybe not unbeatable, a lot of people. It's good, but the level sync is still dog crap. Some AQ World Classics finally came to AQ3D. I'm okay and happy for the situation. There we go. So we got some pretty good feedback here. A lot of people gave their opinions on it. So thank you guys for posting your thoughts on the thing. Overall, I think most people are kind of happy with it. There are definitely some cons with it as well. But, I mean, there seems to be more pros with this. Any opinions you guys would like to add, feel free to post them in the comments of this video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.